did 2 whole cars. It was me, Dez, and me 3, right? And on the first car, in small letters, it said, "All you see is," and then, you know, big, you know, block silver letters, it said, "Crime in the city," right?
At the Grand Concourse 149th Street station in the Bronx, graffiti writers gather at what they call the writer's bench.
What's good, what's good, what's good? Live from the writer's bench. I'm your man, Kill. With the usual suspects on deck, we got my man, Beezo, Evan, Vic. What's going on, fellas?
Peace.
Yo, for this week, we're blessed. I'm hype. I'm probably the hypest dude right now.
I think I'm hyped too, man.
Because I'm a huge fan of this dude. Grap Luva, the youngest soul brother. What's good, Grap?
Yo, what's good? Respect, man. Peace, world. I'm humbled by that, for real,
oh, man.
You know, it's enough respect, man. I appreciate it, for real.
Yo, like I've already shared with Cass. I'm a fan, so I got a million questions. Yo, B, like, how y'all want to set this off? Y'all want to just go in?
I mean, I guess we can do a little background. Like, you know, obviously we both from the Vernon, me and G, so, you know, we go back like high school days and all that. You know what I'm saying? Sitting in math class together and all that.
No doubt.
So we go back a minute, you know what I'm saying, on some Vernonville business.
No doubt.
As the world knows, you know, Grap is Pete Rock's little brother, the younger soul brother and all that.
No doubt.
And you know, we wanted him to come on here because, again, I know the brother, he's a good brother, y'all, I'm sure could tell, you know what I'm saying? He's an intelligent brother. He got a lot to add to conversations like this. And when he watched the first one of the episodes, he said he loved it, he wanted to jump on. So of course we were like, no doubt, you know what I'm saying? Just make it happen. So first we want to get into Grap. I'm sure I know some of where it starts, but why don't you just tell Cash, like, you know, your first love for hip hop, like what brought you to hip hop? What are your influences? How did you get involved in the love for hip hop?
Yo, I'm glad you asked me that, because my earliest memory of hip hop was being at a party that my dad was DJing, and I saw a YouTube video somewhere, and my brother mentioned this exact same party, exact same night. We both experienced it together. We heard Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5, and it was the record where they used 7 minutes of funk. They played it over. Boom, 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 boom. My dad played that joint, and that was like my first exposure. Like, and I was like, yo, this is crazy right here. Like, whoa. And we were at this club, this athletic club that my father was a part of, called Wembley Athletic Club. It was in the Bronx on White Plains Road. You know, Jamaican athletic club, and he used to always DJ there. And they had a Christmas party that time, and he took me and my brother to the Christmas party. He was DJing it, and he played that joint, and that record blew my mind. Yo, I was like, yo, what? Yo, this is hot right here. Like, whoa. So I'm thinking that's the earliest I can think. So many like dope memories with him. I remember when my dad bought me and my brother a Bee Gees record player, like them joints that you fold and unfold. Unfolded, the Bee Gees was like right there. You know what I'm saying? He bought us that, and he bought us this record, Lady B. She's now a radio DJ on Sirius XM Backspin. Lady B is from Philly. She's from 99. She had a record called To the Beat Y'all. And we played that thing to death, man. We played that thing to death. So yeah, that's the earliest memories. Then you could go with like memories with Hev, you know what I mean? Like, you know, memories with Pete, making pause button tapes in the room. I'm laying on the bed and I'm looking at him, watching him make pause button tapes. I'm watching him make mixtapes. You know what I mean? I'm watching them put together these pause button beats. I was there watching them make the pause button beats for the Big Time album. The Big Time album, the majority of those beats that Pete was involved in were pause button beats. He made Girls They Love Me. He made what's that Jamaican joint have that
for the big
I'm
time
in the
club.
mood for love.
Yeah.
He made that on pause button. He made what's the other joint? The joint. Damn, cuz the one where he used Mr. Magic.
Okay.
He did that on pause button tape. So
Now,
he did all those beats.
Brad, for 1 sec, explain the cats, because we got a lot of young viewers who and I work with, right.
I'm sorry, what you need me to explain?
Now, we know, but what are pause button tapes? By me working with
okay.
I understand
a pause button tape.
Cats may not know what you're talking about, so please break down what a pause button tape is.
Right. A pause button tape is where you may take a section of a record, and you have a tape deck, you have your record, and you take a section of the record, you hit the play, record, and pause, pause button, and you have a section of the record, and when that section of the record comes up, you unpause it. Then you pause it back. Then you may go back and do another part of it, or the second part of that part, pause it. Unpause it, boom, right? Then you take that part, put it in the play side, and somehow, I don't know how the hell he was doing this, but somehow or another you transfer that part, and you start pausing another part, maybe the drums, and then you somehow mesh it together. I don't know how he was doing, but he was making them just like, I know what it was. He was mixing them. Because he was for instance, the Mood for Love joint. It was this Jamaican record called Police in English. And every time I never forget, I kept hearing the record go, Police in England, England. And it was boom, 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 boom. Then he would bring it back. Then, Police in England, boom. And he'd do it again, right? Then he took the Kid Dynamite drum, boom, 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 and he just kept boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom, like kept just doing it like this, and he would run that, and then he would run Police, and then when the bass line would drop, he would drop in the Kid Dynamite drums, then unpause it and tape that whole thing, then pause it, so it would make the whole beat, and he piece it together like that, and then have at least a minute so that you could hear what the beat sounded. Then he would take those pause button tapes to Eddie, and they would throw them in the SP1200s. Then they was like, man, this dude needs his own SP1200. So that's when, he started going over Eddie's house. I remember because my pops used to think he was hustling. And he used to get mad at my brother because he would come in mad late from Eddie F's house from practicing making beats. You know what I mean? So, and then from there, the memories with Large Professor, going to Queens, you know what I mean? And hanging out with Large Pro and Mike Geronimo. You know what I mean? It's so many memories, man. So many.
Yo,
but
I
need y'all to keep me focused though, because I'll go all over the place. Keep me focused.
Well, y'all just want to add
sit there like some little kids, man.
Yeah, that's how I feel. I'm just sitting back, letting the teacher teach, man.
You know what's funny, Grap?
I'm the humble sensei. Trust me, you can talk to me. Trust me. Tell me what's good.
Yeah, G, I still remember the first time I came over there with Pete to do some joints or whatever. I had some samples, whatever. And I was like, I wanted this one joint, but I didn't know who the original artist was. I knew the song, but I didn't know the original artist. So I'm just like, yo, Pete, I want this sample, and it go like this. And I started humming it, and he was like, all right, come on. We went back upstairs, went up to y'all. I guess it's like your old bedroom with the bunk beds. But when I first came in the crib, the vestibule, right, when you come into the crib, a little patio part, there was dumb records, crazy 45s and albums, just stacks up on the whole joint. Then we went upstairs
on the porch. On the porch,
exactly.
Yep, my mom's
bedroom
porch.
And on the bunk beds, again, I'm sure there was hundreds of records all over the place, and I can't front.
By that time, I had to move out that room.
Exactly. I could tell. Pete walked up to the top bunk, did this, and boom, and pulled it out. I was like, yo, my nigga, how did you know what that shit? He said, yo, I know everything's out. I'm like, yo, that's crazy.
And sounds. He knows sounds.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. So he knew when I hummed the song, and then he knew exactly what that shit was.
Yep, we got that. Not to cut you off, I'm sorry, but we got that from my dad. Like, my dad was the type of dude, like, my lady came to visit me from Maryland, right? and she was about to leave. Like, wait, you know, my pop's Jamaican, so he's like, wait a minute, mom, I want you to do something for me. My man down a record. It was like, yo, Ed Cleanhead Vincent, blah 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 blah. Go, and he wrote the place where she could buy it. He wrote how much it should cost and everything, and gave it to her. My dude, when I tell you, everything on that joint was exactly the info that when she went to go get it, it was everything. The price was the same, the title, everything was the same. It was crazy. So I think we got that from my dad, like, you know what I mean, really him, you know what I mean.
Can I ask a question when it comes to that?
Please.
What's your pop? Because I seen you do an interview before. You was talking about how, you know, your pop's influence as far as music was.
Right.
What was the first type of music that you got, and how old was you when? Because it seemed like your pop was playing records forever. Word.
That's a coxsone right there. You see that? See the name on it?
Who that?
Phillips. That's my father's. All right, that's a 45. So, Ev, yo, the influence is incredible. Like he taught us how to even hold records. You know what I mean? Like we would like let me give y'all a little story. When I was a little guy, I went in the living room or where my dad's records was, right? And we used to always watch him play records, and we would be in there dancing to our shadows against the wall, whatever. And one time I went in there and he wasn't in there. I took all his 45s and stacked them on the one turntable, B. So the next day when I went to the living room, it was a big TV blocking the way. I could not get in there, yo. But Ev, I'm just talking in the trail. But to answer your question, yeah, his influence was very, very, very potent for us. Like, even like beats that I have, like it was one record, right? I know I told the story on YouTube, but it was one record that when I went in the house, he was playing it on 45, my dude. It was a jazz record on 45. The joint was so sick. And I was like, yo, I had to go down. So I went down, asked him what it is. He told me what it was. I found it like 2 weeks later in the record store. I found the album, told him about it. Homie brought it home for me. Didn't even tell me. He just brought it home. He's like, hey, boom. I opened the joint. I was like, oh. Yo, so, and I made a beat from that joint. But yeah, his influence was very, very heavy. Like, he influenced our whole family. My sisters collect CDs and music. My oldest brother was another big influence because he listened to a lot of fusion jazz, Weather Report, Chick Corea, Return to Forever. He listened to a lot of that. So that was also played a part in Pete's sound and how you hear what you hear. You know what I mean? In terms of the jazz influence in there as well. The soul and funk and reggae was my dad. The jazz and the fusion jazz was my oldest brother. We used to sneak up there and listen to his Crown Heights Affair records and look at the chick with her shirt all wet on and you know what I mean? And listen to Far Out and Do It the French Way and they saying do it the French way. What's that? Whoa, you know. So yeah, that was beautiful, man. So that influence was heavy right there. Like,
yeah, one thing I want to add too, coming from the Vernon, and I know you're gonna have to expand on this because obviously your dealings was much deeper since he's family. But with Have, man, that was the type of cat, man, that the dude just, I don't know, man, he was just a most peace cat, man. It was like cats always said to me, like Eddie said to me once, like, if you got a problem with Have, you really got a problem with yourself because Have is too lovable. He's too good a guy.
Word up.
He wasn't no soft cat either because I seen him one time in the Vernon.
Have them put niggas on their ass in the Vernon.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? I remember back in the day. I remember back in the day a story went around about Have knocking a nigga out on 4th Ave. Like, cause back when Have was doing his dirt, he was in the streets. Cat owed him some paper. He stepped to the cat. Cat tried to get sweet, was slick with it. He gave him a nice little piece to the eye. You know what I mean? But then they was friends like a month later. You know what I mean? So
exactly.
That's just, yeah. Hev was a really, really, really good dude. Like, Hev was the type of dude, like, if he saw something in you, he wanted to bring it out of you. He wanted to manifest it out of you. He wanted to make sure that you manifested it to the fullest potential. I mean, that's how him and Pete's relationship was. Like, he always wanted to pull that out of Pete and always always referred to Pete, like, you know what I mean, when it came to that music. He always referred to, yo, this is dope, yo, this dope, Pete, or yo, let's make this, or let's do that, you know what I mean? So he always referred to Pete, and he was the type of dude that always wanted to help people, you know what I mean? Make sure, like he had cats in Vernon who he's trying to get in the NFL. He had cats in the Vernon who he's trying to get into boxing. Different things, you know what I mean? If you drew, he would let you do a logo for him. You know what I mean? Like, you remember Nick T?
Yeah.
My man Nick T from the Vernon. Nick T did the Uptown logo. He drew the cat.
Oh shit, I never knew that.
The cat. Yeah, Nick T did that logo, yo. That Uptown logo.
That's dope.
The Heavy D and the Boys jacket, the Big Time joint. He did the clock on the back, that little triangle clock on the back.
Yeah.
Nick T did that. So he always was giving cats opportunities to do things. You know what I mean? Me, the first time I ever flew first class, the first time I ever went to California was because of Hev. He took me to Arsenio Hall to dance with him. You know what I mean? Not, you know, he already had 2 girl dances, but it was 2 girl dances, and it was Grap. You know what I mean? So he was like, yo, come on. So, you know what I'm saying? So all of those type of things, you know what I mean?
Well, let me ask you this.
Who laced us with opportunity.
No doubt. Let me ask you this, because like my connection with Pete came through Eddie. You know what I'm saying? Because like my sister was dating Eddie in high school or whatever, and she kind of like stepped to Eddie like, yo, you know, my little brother's out here wilding out. Can you, like, you know, bring him over to the crib, show him a thing or two? So the very first time Eddie brought me over to the crib, Pete was there. And Pete was Pete was DJing. We walked in, I guess Pete was already there, whatever. Pete was cutting. He was going back and forth and killing it. And I was like, okay, man, I knew him from around, you know how it is in the Vernon. You just know everybody, even if you don't know a cat. So I was like, oh, okay, what's good? What's good? Chopping it up. And then Pete started going crazy with it, behind the back shit and all this and that. So then Eddie was like, you know, let me get up on it. Eddie started doing crazy shit. And I was like, I never DJ'd before in my life, so I'm just standing there like, oh shit, I can't even add to this. But it was like, Eddie was a cat. He literally told me how to make a beat. You know, the hi-hat does this, the snare does that, the kick does this. And and I remember him talking about Pete, like, yo, he just on the DJ shit, he was like, yo, that cat Pete, he's gonna be the next cat in the Vernon, because you know, G, back then, if it was an Eddie F party anywhere in Westchester or the Bronx, you was there.
Everybody was
and then when Eddie left to go through the heavy, you know, this stuff on tour, it became the Pete Rock show. I mean, whenever Pete was doing a party, everybody was there, you know what I'm saying? And it was like, so for me, it was like, how did Pete get into actually the beat making process? Was that Eddie, or was that more from Heb's influence, or was it a little bit of both?
Like it was kind of like a little bit of both. Really, like the mechanical side and the technical side of it came from Eddie. You know what I mean? The opportunity and the trust in his creation skills came from Heb. You know what I mean? So them pause button tapes, you know what I mean? Like, he proved himself with those pause button tapes. Like, the shit was genius work, you know what I mean, on pause button tapes. This dude contributed to a platinum album with pause button tape. You feel me?
And see, it's though you say that, because that leads into my thing with Pete, where the little inside shit that a lot of cats outside the game don't really know about. But like, and I've told these cats about it, like, and Eddie again told me this shit, like, yo, Pete was showing him shit on the SP. You know what I mean? Pete was the one that said, hey, that sample right there, put it on 45 and put the pitch all the way up so you save sample time, and then when you slow it down, it'll give it that ill grainy sound for that only the SP has. That was Pete. Filter out the highs so you can take the bass. You know what I'm saying? That was Pete. You know what I mean? Doing the horns, you don't have money for a reverb or echo chamber. You put that shit, you know, on the SP on the pads, and that's how he did the horns for like Shut Them Down. So it's like, here you said it about the pause tape. That's just that cat's mind getting ready, you know what I'm saying, for that next step that he eventually took with the machines themselves.
So yo, Grap, tell me this: with Mac and the Soul Brother B, you were a part of one of the most important hip hop albums in my eyes ever. You know, like that was. I remember the first time I heard Troy, and I'm sure everybody has their own Troy story. But how was it like being a part of a piece of hip hop history that's gonna live forever? Like, I mean, did you go to Pete like, yo, let me rhyme? Was Pete like, yo, like, when did you start?
Like your little acapella on there.
Yo, how I got on, I could talk about how I got on that album. This is how I got on that album. We were in Harlem, on 125th Street, smoking out with Sadat X and Alamo and a couple other cats, right? So cats was like, yo, I don't know if it was me or somebody was like, yo, we should go down to the studio, go check Pete at the studio. We was like, yeah, it's fucking, we right here, let's jump on the train. So we jumped on the train, went down to Green Street. We got there, he's like, oh, good, I'm glad y'all here. Y'all need some crowd noise in the booth, some background noise, so everybody go in the booth. So I was like, all right, we all going in the booth. So we all go in the booth. He's talking to the engineer. Then he comes in the booth. So we waiting for the engineer to, I guess, set up, boot up, whatever, or do whatever. It ain't no boot up because that was the 90s. So we waiting for him, I guess, to put the reel on or do whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah, we waiting for the 2 inch. We waiting for something, right? So we in there waiting. So while we waiting, Pete starts beatboxing. So like the way, you know how a mic is set up, the mic is like this. Pete is like on this side of the mic beatboxing. So I just slide up to this side of the mic and start freestyling. I was freestyling at least 5 to 7 minutes before I am the one they call the G, the R, the A, the P. So what happened was the engineer was looking for a spot for me to stop, you know, to pause, like to, you know, catch a breath, and then he caught. So that's where he caught me at. Like he caught me right there. So what you hear is basically the engineer hit record real quick. So I'm rocking. I am the one they call the G, the R, the A, the P, and I didn't write this coming off the top of the dome. Boom, 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 right? So we get to the end. Peace. Oh, yo, that joint was crazy. That joint was hot. Ooh. Yo, man, we should have taped it. Damn, boom, 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 right? So then we sitting there like, all right, yo, what's good? So he's like, yo, check this out. I am the one they call the G, the R. We was like, yo, you taped it. So Pete was like, yo, I'm keeping that. So he was like, all right, bet. So they left that, and then we did the crowd noise or whatever. So then as we doing that, as the night goes on, Pete comes to me, he's like, yo, you want to be on the basement? I was like, word? Yeah, for sure.
So wait, so that song was already done?
Huh?
The basement was already done, or the concept was already...
The idea was there. So the idea was there. He's like, yo, I want to, you know, we want to do this posse. I want you on it. I want you to do, you know, be on it, the basement. So he's like, I was like, yeah, for sure. I might even have the timing mixed up. It might not have happened that same day. Right. It might have happened later on. You know what I'm saying? But he did ask me, did I want to be on the basement? I was like, hell yeah. So I wrote my rhyme. And I went in the booth, I spit it, and then him and Rob O came in the booth, and they was like, all right, they kind of tweaked the first 6 to 8 bars, right? And then from there, they tweaked like 2 more bars, right? So then boom, by the time I was done, they helped me with like 12 of them. Well, no, really about 10 of them, no, 12. So the last bars when it goes, yeah, once in a while I be with CL on the DL, or I flow with Pete and find my placement in the basement. That's me. That's all me right there. But before that, they kind of like it's mine. The skeleton is mine, but they like some words like take that word out, put that word, take that, you know, like that. They rocked with me like that. So that was my first experience of writing like a official rhyme and really spitting a rhyme. So,
since you brought up Rob, can we talk about that, the merging of I&I? Like, how did that happen?
I&I really was Robbo was the brainchild. Like he was, to me, like they look at me as the leader because Pete was my brother, but really it was like I looked at it as talent, in terms of talent. And Rob to me was the most talented out of all of us in the group in terms of lyrics and writing and rhyming and stuff. So it was really Rob who was doing demos. Like one time when we did the Crossroads demo, we were getting beat tapes from Pete, and we did the Crossroads demo over one of Pete's beats on the beat tape, and he had wrote 3 verses for it, and then he came to me, he's like, yo, I want you to spit this middle verse. I was like, all right, cool. So I spit the middle verse, but not on the demo. And then from there he was like, yo, you know, we should work, like we should do some things. So I was like, yo, you know, at first I was like, nah, I don't think so, because I don't really know if I got anything to contribute to the group. You know what I mean? Because I wasn't really making beats heavy, like making beats then. And I wasn't really I was trying to write here and there, but I really wasn't like like yeah, like pen crazy. You know, I wasn't going crazy with the pen. So I was like, and then there's like, nah, you know, we'll just be gonna do it together. We're gonna be in together. So, all right, cool. So that's how the group kind of formed. You know what I mean? But and then when Pete got the deal with Elektra, that's when it really was like, all right, y'all should be a group too. You know, because really it was Rob. You know what I mean? It was really Rob-O. Okay. And then, you know, and that's how that came about. We did some early demos. Like, there's a demo on YouTube that we did. It's on YouTube. My man from France put it up there. It's called, I think it's called For Your Own Concern or Concern. The song, we called it Concerned, but it's called For Your Own Concern. That's one of our earliest demos. The beat is sick. And we talking about safe sex. Yeah. That rhyme, the rhyme that Rob-O spit on To Each His Own is the rhyme he spit on Concern.
Okay. I got a question for you, man, about that album, Center of Attention. I had my people.
By the way, hold up, Vic. Yeah. By the way, the name of the album is The Life I Live. That's the real name of the album. The Center of Attention is the bootleg name of the album. All right. We named the album The Life I Live. All right. Yeah, so go ahead. I'm sorry.
That answers one question, because I always wondered about that, because I was reading that it was like the most bootleg hip-hop album ever.
Wow, I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
but I wish I could have saw some of them residuals.
Yeah. I left New York at the time. I'm from Terrytown. I was living in Terrytown. Oh wow. And then I went over to Japan in the war, man. So wow. I had left. I think Pete had just got on BLS.
Okay.
I think that was like 80. When did Pete get on BLS? It was like, because I left in 89.
It was like 88.
Right around that time. 88, right, like 88. Yeah. You got on there about 88.
I went over and then, you know, got to the albums over there and just loving everything Pete Rock. And just to insert this, Joe Ev, I got the crazy Grap Love Pete Rock Dark right here. This is it right here. This is a dark. But I come back, I get to Oklahoma and Faking Jacks. I had the maxi single out of Oklahoma.
Okay.
It was a multi-single out, and then the album never came out. So I guess the industry rule 4080 question, like, what happened? Like,
politics. What was told to me was that Elektra felt like we were not competitive enough for whatever market they were trying to put us in. And I think at that time our competition was like the Lost Boys, and then Bad Boys started to emerge as well.
Right.
And from there, like, I think they just got a little panicky. They, you know, because they had been doing that stuff with Busta, and then Missy was doing well. So I think they wanted Pete to take his music in that same commercial style in that direction. But I don't think he was really with that. So that's why that thing dissolved. That Soul Brother thing ended up dissolved.
So wait, so they wanted y'all stuff to get more commercial, or just Pete in general?
Us, Pete, hit the whole Soul Brother sound. I think they wanted it to be more commercial.
That's crazy. Because, I mean, for me, I'm not just saying this because you won't, but for me, that was probably one of the most anticipated albums. Just waiting for it to come out. For me, I remember just. And I didn't even know it got bootleg, you know. But I remember seeing Faking Jack's video and just couldn't wait till that album to drop. And you just wait.
Yeah, doing that album was like having a baby, man. That was a process, man. It was like an emotional roller coaster, man. 4 brothers, you know what I mean, trying to figure out, you know, where they going with the music, and, you know, different mental directions and all kind of stuff going on. You know what I mean? 5 brothers, including Pete. You know what I mean? And so it was an emotional roller coaster. Some highs, some lows, you know what I mean? Loop-de-loops, you know what I mean? Going backwards sometimes, you know, like, yeah, it was an emotional roller coaster. But sometimes it's like, go ahead, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, peace, brother.
Oh, okay. I was just gonna say, sometimes for me, it's like a love-hate with it too, with that album, because of what happened to it. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, the creation of it and the way that people respond to it is the love part. You know what I mean? The hate part is what happened to it emotionally, certain things that I went through emotionally while in the process of creating it. You know what I mean? yeah, that's a love-hate thing. But yeah, politics, man, took that joint to the cleaners, B. Straight up. Sylvia Rome. To Sylvia Rome.
It's the sugar hill chick.
Yeah.
Yo, Jay, let me ask you something. As now, I don't want to create any controversies and no issues and nothing, but I'm just curious because we all, we from the Vernon. How do I put this? Looking back on it now, 11 many years later, never mind where he's at now, but looking back on it, do you view what Puff did with the game as a positive or a negative or a little bit of both or a lot of one and some of the other?
A lot of one and some of the other. A little more negative than positive. I've known Puff for some years. I remember my earliest memories with Puff was being in his garage and us making up dance routines to hopefully one day put into videos. And I remember also asking Heb the same time around Puff was around, and asking him Heb to work at Uptown. And Heb was like, nah, I want you to go to school or do something different. Like, and Puff used to look like, you know the story with him begging to get on or whatever. He got on. But yeah, negative than probably because he brought like this dynamic of economics into hip hop that's unprecedented. Like you haven't seen that much of an impact of economics in hip hop until he came.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like more at one point was more like grimy, it was that grimy, gritty, and that, East Coast stomp, and some gunplay was talking, and cats was talking a little hustle, but it was more like corner hustle, like the cat on the block with the fat stuffed pockets, Jums is all in him, and he got the Timbs on, and he got his Walkman on, and he listening to Mob or something, you know what I mean? Like, it was that type of energy. And then my man came through and was like, almost like, took the masculinity up out the joint a little taste, you know what I mean? Like, made it like real, like mellow, and then
cleaned it up.
I don't know, man. Yeah,
you're right.
Up, like,
it
is a touchy one, man. That's a touchy one. But I say, because I was about to go somewhere with it, but I say more negative than positive. He definitely like showed young black men that they can be businessmen, you know what I mean, and handle things and still maintain somewhat of a hip hop aesthetic with themselves. You know what I mean? I can give him credit for that, but in terms of like the quality of the music and all of that stuff, he definitely tainted that.
Right. That's what I see.
But I think he's in a stage right now of redemption where he's not so much redemption, but he's trying to come back to that type of essence. Like Biggie had him in that essence. Biggie had him in an essence where he was like hip hop. You know what I mean? Right. And when he lost Biggie, he kind of lost that too. You know what I mean? So big ups to Puff. You can't really. It's kind of shaky. I ain't got nothing that he could take from me, or unless he gonna send somebody to my front door to whack me or whatever. I ain't got nothing he could take from me. So but big ups to him anyway. You know what I mean? But because he's from the Vernon, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, that he definitely made a impact on the game that wasn't like one that you could say, yeah, this joint is worth, this is a shining impact. Like, it was like shining but tainted too.
Yeah, it's a little tainted. Because we had a discussion last time about that, about whether or not hip hop would have exploded, become as popular if it didn't go that route. And my contention was it would have eventually gotten there, but Puff just made it go. He took the express path, you know what I mean? Just go right there by taking the old classics and putting the nicest MC at the time over these classics and doing songs with people like the Brat and these type of artists that was, kind of pop, hip hop type of people or whatever. So I felt like it was still a gotten there, but Puff just took the express route and like, boom, this is how we're gonna do it. And it's unfortunate because I think that, I don't want to go off too far, but I think that if more people were more educated about the history of the game and the history of hip hop, it would have, because what you said about your own project, the love and the hate, that's the dilemma, where it's now, it used to be cats was making the music for the love, and yeah, you hate the bullshit, but you got so much love that you put up with the bullshit. Because then when you out on tour, you doing your thing, you in the studio, that's the love and shit. And the love from the fans, that's the love. But now it's like cats love making money. So it's not a love for the music, it's a love for making money, and the music is just the means to get that money. So it just
get that money.
Yeah, it just bastardized everything. And I mean, I don't want to blame it on Puff, you know, singularly, but it's just, and obviously he's had a huge impact. And shit, man, being from the Verdant, man, it's like, I feel the same way. Like, part of that love because it's a cat from the Verdant, but then it's like, you know, the game got twisted too at the same time behind some of the way he went about it, I think.
Yo, Grap,
and that's the thing. Like, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Now, I wanted to ask you, because, and this is a perfect segue to it, from, like you said, the love and the hate and the game changing around that Puff time, that 95 time. What made you, because it seemed like you stepped away from the game. Like, because I can remember from, like you said, from your verse on Mac and the Soul Brother, you know, with the basement. Like I said, I've been a fan from the I&I album. I mean, I done got this version off of some website. I got like 5 different copies of trying to get the official album. So when, you know, I was always waiting, yo, when is Grap coming? And then it was like, okay, I don't know if I&I broke up, but where's Grap coming? And then Pete and CL break up. So, yo, we should get the Grap Luva Pete Rock album. And I'm like waiting for Grap Luva. And then like my man, like word gets the air, like, nah, Grap don't even rhyme no more. He moved to Maryland. He a teacher. I'm like, yo, what happened? So, like, did you step away from the game? Did I&I break up? Like, do you still rhyme? Do you still want to rhyme? Or did the industry politics of the whole situation just kind of make you step away?
Right. In terms of that part, like, once, like, around 96, 97, you know, the single dropped. We did a few shows here and there, went on tour. I was able to perform at my alma mater, my college, you know what I mean? We did the homecoming there. But, you know, once that happened, then I started making beats, you know what I mean? And that was really how I fell back. Like, I fell back into production, because that's what I always wanted to do, was produce. So I started making beats, and I would be up at Pete's house making beats. That's how Half Man, Half Amazing, I ended up getting that. And doing the Step Up Time beat as well, because at that time I was making beats, like 95, 96, 94 I started making, 94 I really started fiddling with, then 95, 96 I started really making beats. I made Step Up Time at Pete's house. I made Half Man, Half Amazing at Pete's house. And that's what I was really doing. And then how I ended up in Maryland was my queen, who was my wife right now at the time, she got pregnant with my daughter. And so I was like, you know, cool, it was a thing about me becoming a man, me becoming my own man. You know what I mean? I didn't want to be Pete Rock's little brother. I didn't want to be in a shadow of anybody or anything. So I just said, this is my opportunity to show myself and whoever's looking that I can be a man and take care of my business. So I left, went to Maryland, got down here. I didn't have a job or anything. I was like, wow, like just did no job, kind of hanging with some cats who's making music, trying to still dibble and dabble here and there, playing cats beats and stuff like that, trying to sell beats, whatever. Then got some crazy jobs here and there. And then I got up with a friend of my wife's. She told me her school was hiring. So I went to the school, I interviewed with the principal, come to find out we from the same neighborhood in the Bronx. So I got that job, and then I was working there and working at my daughter's pre-primary school. In the afternoon, I was doing aftercare there. So that's how I got into education. But all the while, I was still kind of dabbling here and there. And then in 99, I linked up, like 98, Wes Jackson came down here, and I met him. And then he and I connected. And then in 99, he got me some work. Some, like, you know, I was doing like, I did 2 records in London. And he got me out there. I did the records. He got me some money in my pocket, and we got back. Then J Live was doing his album, The Best Part. So I was like, yo, I think, you know, I got some joints I want you to hear. So I gave him like 3 or 4 joints, and he picked Vampire Hunter J beat and Them That's Not. And when he picked them that style, I was like, damn, all right, cool. So I'm thinking he's gonna just talk over that part that goes from slow to fast. He was like, yo, nah, I want to rhyme over that part. I was like, what part? He was like, the part that goes from slow to fast. I want to rhyme over that part. I was like, all right, dude. When he came in there and did that rhyme, man.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Incredible, dude.
That
Incredible.
Too.
Yeah. So I give him like 50% of that. You know what I mean? Like I came with the beat and he came with that rhyme, and that marriage was just unbelievable. And it's literally the rise and fall of an MC, the story. You know what I mean? So the beat rises, comes to a height, and then it falls. You know what I mean? So like there's no song like that. And you guys are hip hop dudes. Tell me if I'm wrong. There is no song like that in hip hop that starts from 50 BPMs and goes to 94, then back to 50.
Yeah, it was crazy when my man played it. My man was like, yo, you gotta hear this joint Grap did, and I heard it. And I ain't even gonna hold you. I've never been the biggest J Live fan. You know what I mean? But when I heard that joint, I was like, yo, this is crazy. But again, for me being a fan, I'm like, bet Grap Luva's back. You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, what's next, Grap? And then, you know, I gotta wait some time.
Right. And then I went to Cali and did Combo, Time for a New Horizon. Went back out there and did a record with these guys called the Sound Providers, which they told me was their best-selling record to date. Like Time for a New Horizon, they said that was their best-selling record to date. So I mean, not Time for New. Who Am I? That's the song by the Sound Providers that I did with them. And I picked the beat and everything, and it was like, yo, I was like, yo, that beat right there, that joint's crazy. And then we did the joint, and that was, you know, that was fun. So yeah, just I was like piecemealing cats, and then I met Kev at WMUC, and when I met Kev at WMUC, we connected on the music. He gave me a CD of his music, and there was one song on there called From Day to Night. And when I heard that song, I was like, yo, this dude is dope. I dig him, I want to rock with him, like, So we started connecting on music, and then one day I was in this market and I called him, and he was playing the What Ruling Means in the background, the beat. I was like, yo, what's that, yo? He's like, yo, that's just something that I was making in the house. I was like, yo, son, we need to use that. He was like, word? I was like, yeah, yo, let's use it. So I went over there. The first time I went, I had it. My throat was twisted. I couldn't record it. The second time I went, we recorded it. I brought it to, I was like, yo, I'm going to get this played on Future Flavors. He was like, word? I was like, yeah. So I brought it to New York. I was like, yo, Pete, Marley, listen to this. Played it for him. Marley fell in love with it immediately. Pete was like, yo, that's crazy. Marley was like, yo, that joint crazy. Y'all want that on my album. So that's how that record got on that album. You know what I mean? So just piecemealing cats. Well, as far as rhyming, I'm not like heavy on it. You know what I mean? Like, I would rather produce than rhyme.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I would rather produce than rhyme. But cats be asking me to rhyme, so I rhyme. You know what I mean?